Here we go, Facebook Live. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Ta-da! Here we are. Welcome, Facebook Live. All right, I'm excited. So, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Today we're going to talk about how to win. You win any argument. Well, let's start first. If you're here live and you're watching live, just put hashtag live in the comments. And if you're watching this on a replay, put in hashtag replay. So I'm not going to ask you if you've ever had an argument, because the answer to that question is obviously yes. You have argued. We all have argued. We've had arguments, that just will drive you completely batty. Just arguments that you're just like, you want to pull your hair out. And it's like, this person just doesn't get it. So if there's anybody who never has argued before, put in the comments hashtag me. If I get any of those, I'm gonna fall over dead right here, because I know we have all had arguments. So, and the second thing I want you to do, or maybe that's the third thing, but either way, so put in the comments the hashtag of the biggest argument that you have. Maybe it's about finances, maybe it's about the kids, maybe it's about attention, maybe it's about communication, maybe it's about the in-laws, or maybe it's about all those things, or maybe it's about chores. It just depends. So just put in the comments like what hashtag and then the word for the biggest thing that you have. Your conflict about, your biggest arguments, what do those end up being about? And a lot of times in my house it's about the chores. And since I'm telling you how to win any argument, I always win every argument. So, because I'm going to give you the information on that right now today. So just put it in the comments. And I'm not able to see the comments for some reason, but I see there's some people watching. So thanks. It's nice to see some people there. But at my house, a lot of times it's about attention. It's about the dishes with me and my wife. But what's yours? Just put it in the comments there. So how do you win these arguments that come up? And I guess first of all, what is an argument? And what happens whenever we argue? Whenever we start to feel really stressed, angry, and we're just going back and forth, like, just back and forth. And I think understanding what an argument is really powerful to learning how to win it. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's not about winning. It's about not arguing in the first place. And that's kind of the secret. But let's talk about an argument. What is happening whenever we argue? You have two people that are not really, when you're arguing, are you really conscious of looking at the other person, or are you like up in your head, like thinking about this thing and the way that you want it to be done, and this is what I want, and this is what I want, and you're just trying to take this picture and put it in the other person's brain and be like, look, this is what you need to see that you don't get. You take the picture out of my brain, put it in yours so you see what I'm trying to say. You don't get it. It's like, you don't get it. You don't get it. This is what I'm trying to say. And the other person is trying to do the same thing. They have that picture in their brain, and they're like, the dishes are supposed to be like this. The finances are supposed to be like this. We're supposed to raise our kids like this. So, we have these pictures in our minds of the way that we think things should be. And what is that really? What is that picture? What gives us that picture of the way that we think things should be, that we want to take and put in our partner's brain and our spouse's brain and say, here, this is the way it should be done. This is the way it should happen. So where does that come from? Well, I've studied this because I wanted to figure out why the heck, I was so terrible at, talking to my wife about things. And what I found out is, through the studying and through this stuff, is that it comes from a need that we have to be met. Maybe it's a need for connection. Maybe it's a need for safety. Maybe it's a need for love. Or a lot of times this comes up in arguments is autonomy. Like the need to be free and to be able to make one's own decision. As soon as we start to get into that argument mode and somebody says, look, if you don't do this, then you're not getting this. And if you don't do this, well, then I'm not going to talk to you, and I'm going to be angry, and I'm going to hold this position and make life hard on you until you give me what I want. That does not meet our partner's need for autonomy. And part of being in a relationship, part of being in a marriage is being there to want to meet each other's needs. And when we demand, when we get in an argument and we start saying, you have to meet my needs in this way, that does not meet our partner's need for autonomy. And so when we're arguing, we both have, we're both trying to say, well, you need to do this, and you need to do that, blah, blah, back and forth. And one of the things that we lose when we get to that place is that our partner, our spouse cannot meet our needs happily because we're making a demand to try to force them into doing something. So they lose the ability. It almost makes the thing that we want from them, the way that we want them to meet our needs, this picture that we have of what they should do, it makes it harder for them to be able to do that. Because we're basically saying, look, either you do this or you're going to suffer. You're not going to get the thing you want. So we actually make it harder for our partner to do the thing that we want, to meet our needs in the way that we see. You meet my needs, you got to put the dishes away every day, and they have to be dry, and it has to be in this way. And the more that we argue with our partner and yell at our partner, or whatever that is, whatever that looks like in your life, the more we do that, the less likely our partner, our spouse, is to want to happily meet our need. So it actually makes it more difficult for them because it becomes a chore. Just think about a job that you've had where you had a boss who was like, this is what you got to do. If you don't, then you're going to suffer. I mean, how does that feel? Does it make it more fun for you to want to meet your employer's needs in that way? Or does it make it like, I got to find a new job? It's like, and this is part of what comes up in our arguments, is two people that are on a different page. You got one person that's reading out of one book, and they're reading like a romance novel, and the other person's reading an action adventure, and you're trying to go, well, no, this is what book we're supposed to be reading out of. And this is a statistic that's really interesting is when somebody's having a heart attack, it takes them about an average of 7 minutes to call 911 for help. But when somebody is struggling in their marriage, in their relationship, it takes them an average of 7 years to ask for help. Now you think about, say you had a leak in your plumbing, and your plumbing's leaking, and you decide, oh well, it's not that bad. But the longer it leaks, the bigger the hole gets. And just imagine if you didn't call the plumber to fix that leak, and you just let it go for 7 years. And you just say, oh well, there's water running on the floor, and it's like we all know when it's time to call the plumber. But sometimes it's difficult for us to ask for help whenever we're struggling in our relationships, and that's normal. And what I want to do, if this is you, put #help in the comments, or send me a DM if this is something that you struggle with, if this is something that comes up for you. It'd be my pleasure to talk to you and see if it would be a good fit for us to get together, for us to talk about how to navigate these challenging things that come up in our relationships, in your marriage, in your relationship. So I would love to talk to you today. I hope you got something out of this live today. I hope this was beneficial to you. If there's something that you wanted to hear that you didn't hear, put that in the comments. Let me know what it is. If there's something that resonated with you, please share it in the comments. I'm not sure. This was kind of a spur of the moment, and I'm not seeing the comments. So If you were able to comment, thank you so much for commenting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to come back again soon. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing a live with a lady by the name of Jessica Cosine. So we're going to be back on here talking about some things. She's a coach for people who struggle with codependency. So we're going to be talking about a couple of things together. So I'm going to put that in the on the group to let you know when that's coming up. So thank you for being part of this live today. I hope you benefited, and let me know what you liked and what you didn't and how I can do better. Thank you. Have a great day. See ya. May all your relationships be fun and fulfilling, and especially your marriage. Thank you. Bye-bye.